Alright, here is part 2 of our Mazda 6 spark plug replacement. This is the front side. Go ahead and remove those clips and remove the bolts holding the ignition coils. Now, in this vehicle, we did have the same issue as the rear where, the spring was getting stuck. So we did replace the coils as well. So you'll see stubborn right there. I had to pry it out. And I did do my best to not rip it just in case, but it still got replaced regardless. To see, finally, but you can see that the coil spring inside still stuck on that tip. So if this does happen, like I said before, you're gonna need some long needle nose pliers. Once you have that all replaced, go ahead and reinstall these 10mm bolts. Actually, no, they're 8mm bolts. Reconnect the ignition coils. Let's go ahead and do that now. And as I always say, try to be gentle with these because sometimes they're brittle and they tend to break. So if it doesn't click, it's probably not locked into place. Now we're going to go ahead and install the intake manifold gaskets, or should I say the upper plenum gaskets. I love these blue ones because they just sit in there nice and snug. They have these little, I forgot what you call them, little ridges that just kind of put some pressure on the gasket and it just keeps it there. Anywho, slide that sucker on through that EGR tube and then tighten all these bolts. But do not use power tools. Right now I'm just making sure they're sitting on there. Not doing any sort of tightening, just getting it threaded on there. Then I go ahead and manually tighten these. Don't go too crazy, because if you strip it, then you're gonna have to remove the lower plenum gasket. Sorry, the lower plenum of the manifold assembly. And I just went back to make sure that I got all of them. Now reinstall these vacuum hoses. Always double check these because sometimes you forget that one didn't go in there, and then you turn on the car and then you have this giant noise and you're wondering what the heck is that noise. It's really funny when it happens, but it happens sometimes. I really dislike these clamps because the needle nose are so thin and then it just, snaps back. And then if you have your fingers right by there, it kind of smacks you a little bit. Now these bolts as well. Two on the side, one up top. There goes that one. Here goes this one. And the top one's already mostly done. Alright. Now the little harness for the throttle body master airflow sensor combination. It's all in one, which is pretty handy. But gets a little expensive when you have to replace. Actually, no, I'm wrong. Just kidding. That's just the throttle body. Mass airflow sensor, obviously, is over here. My apologies. All right, tighten up these bolts, 10mm bolts. Okay, now bypass hose, this PCV hose. That guy's a little stubborn, so I'm just gonna smack it a little bit. So I could get on in there. Get in there. Look at that. Just gentle tap, because it won't go in. There you go. And it's sitting in there. Hook that back up. And again, it'll click. Get that clamp on there. And also, mass airflow sensor.